Our next guest on stage is Mr. Weaver from Silver North Resources. Welcome on stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a real pleasure to be here. I'm Jason Weber. I'm CEO of Silver North Resources, and most of you know Silver's had a really strong run the last few months, and so as a silver explorer, it's been a really exciting time. And I think I'll just run you through a few things why I think Silver North is a great silver investment opportunity right now. As a geologist, I'm an optimist by nature, so I have to put up this slide that says that. Sometimes things don't work out in mineral exploration the way we want, and that's a risk that we all take, both in the investing side and the actual execution of what we do. So why Silver North? I think we've seen it in the last few months. The price of silver up at $48 yesterday. We think in Canadian terms, that's over $65 an ounce. Canadian dollars, a fantastic run, and we only see that continuing. Obviously, if you're focused on silver, one of the great places to be in North America is in Northern Canada, in the Yukon, in what's called the Keno Hill District. It's one of the richest and oldest silver districts in all of North America. And I think this is a really key point for investors when you're looking at exploration companies especially. Who's your neighbors, who's your partners? We're working in our flagship project Haldane right next door to Hecla Mining. They're actively mining the Keno Hill deposits right now. We're searching for the same thing. We're also partnered with Coeur Mining in the southern part of the Yukon Territory, and that's a partnership where they're earning into a project that we have in a new district that they're starting, new silver district they're starting to define. And I think this is really important. Some of the best value you can add to a company in the mining business is at the discovery phase. And not only do we have multiple projects where we can make discoveries in the short term, we have multiple targets on those projects where those discoveries can be made, and we're actively drilling right now towards making those discoveries. So this is just a little outline of where we are. Haldane is our flagship project. It's in the historic Keno Hill District. Hecla is our neighbor, and we're drilling there right now. And this project, we're about halfway through the program, so we'll be drilling there for another 5 or 6 weeks. And of course, that means we'll have results coming out. We haven't released any yet. We don't have them back from the lab, but we should expect hopefully in the next 2 weeks we start to see those come in. And then the other project, Tim, is the partnership with Coeur Mining. That's right at the southern part of the territory on the BC-Yukon border. And as I said, this is a new district that Coeur is starting to define. People really don't know a lot about it, and Coeur's got most of the ground in the district. They came to us when they saw one of the key pieces that they saw we had, so we've done a deal with them, and they're spending the money and putting their expertise here to work on our project. So just looking at Haldane itself, that's our flagship project. In the Yukon, having road access is a really special feature. Most of the part of Northern Canada, you don't get the advantage of road access. Because we have a couple active mines right in the vicinity, we've got great road access, we've got power. We can drive right into the area where we're drilling right now, and we've got targets. If you look at the veins that we've identified to date, there's over 12 kilometers of cumulative vein when you add them all together that we can explore. We've explored less than a kilometer of that so far. We've drilled 20 holes total, including the ones we've drilled this year. We've made 3 new discoveries, discovered 3 brand new vein systems in a 100-year-old district. So our success rate here has been exceptional to start, and we hope that continues, obviously. So this is Yukon Territory. Our project sits right about in the middle of the Yukon. We can see both Haldane and Tim here. We'll just zoom into the Haldane area. I show here Mayo, which is the closest airport. We have the Silver Trail Highway, which continues up from Mayo. We're about halfway between Mayo and Keno City, where Hecla has their processing facilities for their Keno Hill mines. I've labeled a few deposits on here. There's over 65 deposits, silver deposits, that have been identified in the Keno district. I've just, some of the more famous and ones that are active right now I've labeled. And then I've also labeled a couple, Powerline and Orex. These are gold discoveries that Banyan Gold, our neighbor, has made. So not only is this a silver district now, it's a burgeoning gold district as well. And as explorers, as geologists, when we see systems like this that are really dynamic, that's where we see potential to find big deposits. And that's why we're really excited to be here. So just looking at some of the other key players in the district, I won't spend a lot of time here. I've mentioned Banyan already. Hecla is the major operator. We have the Eagle Mine just to the north. This area is extremely active. When I drove up here about 15 years ago, you could drive to Keno and maybe see 3 or 4 vehicles on the couple-hour drive from Mayo. Now you'll see 2 or 3 vehicles a minute. It's constant traffic back and forth. There's that much activity in this part of the world. And this is just a map. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on geology with you, but this is a map of the Keno district. The key unit here is the one that runs down the middle. It's kind of the bluey gray one. That is called the Keno Hill Formation. It hosts probably 95% of the silver deposits in this district. So it's a really important rock for us if you're going to explore for these silver veins. And we have a good exposure of that at our Haldane property on the left-hand side of the slide. Another real advantage for us is the fact when you have a district that's this old, there's been a lot of study done on it, and Hecla has been an exceptional neighbor as far as sharing information, not just with us, but with the general mining community in Vancouver and elsewhere in Canada. They've described what these veins look like and really what you should be looking for if you're trying to find these. So I won't go through all this, but this is all from Hecla's studies, and they've made it available to companies like us to try to replicate the success they've had in discovering new deposits on their own ground. So just looking in at our property itself, there's 4 zones that I've outlined here. We have a number of other targets that we have yet to explore. But when we started here in 2018, the only zone that was known and intersected in drilling was the Middlecoff. So the other 3 were discoveries we've made in our efforts in the last 4 or 5 years. And I think that's really exceptional when you consider that's done with 20 drill holes. So our hit rate is somewhere up around 80% when trying to target these veins. And you don't see that very often, especially when you're targeting vein deposits in general. So this is a view of the valley that we work in. We call this Bighorn Valley. Bighorn Creek runs down the middle of this slide. And you can see sort of on both sides of the creek some of the areas we've worked. Middlecoff is the one I mentioned earlier. There was a little bit of mining done here in the 1920s, almost 25 tons of over 3,100 grams per ton silver here, so nice high-grade material. Johnson is another one that was mined in the 60s. They took about 2 tons of 4,600 grams per ton silver, so exceptionally high-grade material. And then you can see up on the hillside where we're drilling. These are the main fault, the west fault, and in the background Bighorn. That's one of our key targets. So these are new discoveries. Last year, our main fault, this is a really significant discovery for us. 5.8 meters of 365 grams silver. Our target for an intersection, what we think would be ore, is what would go through the mill at Keno, what Hecla would put through the mill, is 3 to 5 meters of 300 grams silver or greater. So with these intersections, we're right in that range for what could be ore should we put enough ounces together here. You can see our west fault discovery, 3 meters of over 1,300 grams silver. So again, nice high-grade intersections. And that's really what brings people into the Keno district, is this potential for high-grade mineralization. Hecla, for example, on their property, they're now finding, in some cases, up to 12,000 grams silver. So that's the kind of grades that this district can produce, and really what makes it special. So looking at, I want to talk about the main zone. That's where we're drilling right now. and why we think this is a significant development for us, and really why we're spending our exploration dollars here. This is a view of 2 holes we drilled last year that intersected mineralization, brand new. So there have been 7 holes testing this area by previous workers. They couldn't get to the target depth. We were able to do that, and what we found is we intersected multiple veins in the first hole, which was hole 29. We steepened it up, drilled another hole, and found that not only did the veins get stronger in their silver values, but they coalesced into one big unit. And you can see that in this diagram here, where you've got now all the mineralization coming together over a 28-meter, roughly true width section. So this was really exciting for us. So the plan was to start building on this. And what I mean by that is we now have a zone where on surface we see mineralization over about a 250-meter span. So at our main zone, it's one of the few areas on the property where we can actually find mineralization, silver mineralization exposed on surface. Even though we've made these other discoveries, they've been blind. Well, this one comes out to surface. We know there's potentially about 300 meters of vein strike there we can explore. So we want to systematically start stepping out 50 meters on section to try to define this vein system. And not only are we going to work on it laterally, but we want to test it to depth as well. And the idea here is if we can define, say, 25 million ounces of silver, that's kind of an average Keno Hill silver deposit size. And we think if we can do that, that makes us really appealing to our neighbor Hecla as far as them making an acquisition. But not only can we do it here at the main zone, but we have 3 other targets that we have identified already where we can try to do the same thing. So by no means is 25 million ounces our goal. That's just kind of the minimum that we think we can start to define here. So in just summary, main fault, that's our main target now, but we do have other targets that'll be left to explore. Not only do we have these targets, but we have the potential to identify new ones as we start to branch out and explore some of the other prospective areas of the property. But we've also got these 2 really high-grade areas that were mined back in the 1960s and the 1920s that we can go back to and start to build on as well. Our overall plan here was to try to define multiple areas where we could see Keno Hill deposits being not only discovered but defined. And so now that we're at that point, now we can start building on individual deposits as we're doing at the main zone. So we really feel that we're just scratching the surface here at Mount Haldane. So our current program, we've drilled 5 holes so far. We'll probably get another 5 in, I'm expecting, before the winter comes in and makes it a little too difficult for us to work. As I said, the primary goal of this program is to build on that main fault. And so we'll be drilling here probably till the end of October. And as I said, results haven't started to come out yet. So I think that's the kind of one of the upsides for us as we move forward here. If the silver market continues, if we are putting out good results in that strong silver market, I think it's really beneficial for our share price. I'll just briefly touch on our TIM project, which is with Coeur Mining as our partner, right down here at the BC Yukon border. We're about 19 kilometers north of the Silvertip mine, and Coeur's done a really good job here over the last few years, almost silently building this new CRD district here. These CRD deposits, they tend to be very large. You can get these big systems that have multiple spokes to them. So in this area, we're hoping that Silvertip, the mine that exists now, is kind of the hub. And there'll be these other spokes with the other CRD deposits that are similar in nature that can be found in the district. And that's exactly where our TIM project would fit in. Coeur can earn up to 80% in this project by funding right through to a feasibility study. So for us, this is a great second option for us to be involved in a discovery. Coeur's putting their expertise to work here. They know this district best, and it comes at no cost to our shareholders. As I said, we're about 19 kilometers up the road. We did a small drill program there last year. Coeur funded that. It was successful in identifying a CRD system. We know one was active at our project, so that's a real positive for us. But we actually didn't hit high-grade silver. We know it's there on surface, so now it's just vectoring from that point. I'll just leave it with this one photo of this glowing red rock here. We call that barbecue rock. That's a really good indicator for these types of systems. So for us, that's almost a proxy for mineralization. So that's why we're really excited about moving on this project forward. And I'll just leave it with this slide here. This is our share price performance over the last few months. You can see the correlation with the silver price, how our stock has reacted. So I think this is a great time to be involved in the silver market. We're really excited about our prospects going forward, and the promise of potentially putting out strong silver results in a very good market, I think, is something that our shareholders can look forward to. Thank you very much.